We need a car ride.
Oh, true. Road trip one.
So it's 6:00. Nope, it's 4:05. I'm gonna start. Hello, Pitt Class of 2024. Welcome to Panther to Panther's first webinar, What to Expect. My name is Madeline Spatafor, and I'm a rising sophomore at Pitt studying marketing.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brendan Mostek. I'm from Upper Darby, PA. I'm a rising junior, and I will be studying, or I am studying chemical engineering. And along with Maddie, the two of us will be your MCs for today.
Woo! Period. Before we introduce the mentors, we want to get to know the audience a bit. So let me know your name, hometown, and what you plan to study at Pitt in the chat.
Maybe this is the year that everything is from California instead of outside of Philly.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if a majority of the Pitt students were from California. But
I mean, we can hold out hope.
all right. Well, feel free to keep putting your names and stuff in the chat. We'd love to get to know you guys. But now all of us, all the other mentors, aside from me and Maddie, are going to introduce themselves so you can get an idea of who we are and what our backgrounds are. Starting with Ed.
Hey guys, I'm Edward. I just graduated actually. I'm going to be starting my first year of medical school. But I'm from Westchester, PA. It's like outside of Philly. And I majored in microbiome and business. And I'm gonna popcorn over to Nicole.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm a rising senior at Pitt. I'm studying linguistics in Korean, and I was born and raised in Pittsburgh. How about Kami?
My name is Kami. I'm a rising junior at Pittsburgh. I'm from Lagos, Nigeria, and my major is psychology. I'm gonna pass it over to Angel.
Hey guys, I'm a rising senior and I am from Tennessee. I major in finance and BIS. Passing it over to Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm from outside of Philly area, and I'm a rising junior majoring in biological sciences and minoring in chemistry. And I'll pass it to Josh.
Hey everyone, I actually just graduated from the computer science program. I'm going to be starting a master's program in robotics at CMU in the fall, and I'm from here in the lovely Pittsburgh, PA. I think that's everyone.
Yeah, great to get to know all you guys. And so now we're going to get started by answering some common questions that we've collected that you guys might have. But we also want to let you know that there's going to be like an open Q&A at the end. So as we're going along, if you think of any questions that you want us to answer, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll take a look at them in a little bit and hopefully answer anything that you are. But we'll start with some pre-prepared questions, starting with mentors. What is some advice on how to make friends in college?
Yeah, I guess I can answer that first. I'd say that my best advice is to not be afraid to reach out to people and organizations. I personally was like super anxious about taking that first step and, just joining orgs, meeting people. But when I actually started trying to push past my own anxieties, I ended up surrounded by people that made it really just all worth the effort.
Yeah, adding on to that, college is not like high school where you make friends because you guys are in the same class all the time. You definitely have to join diverse organizations, ones that align with your values, ones that you might never thought that you could join before, but just go out and try. You also make friends through your friends, and it's kind of a continuous process. You make it throughout your college career. So as long as you're open to new things and stick true to yourself, you'll eventually find your own close group of friends.
Yeah, jumping off of what Angel said, my biggest piece of advice is to try to not focus too much on finding people from the same places you are. It's one of the main points of college is to meet people from different backgrounds and experiences. So I'd say try to branch out a little bit. Like Angel said, join things you didn't think you'd join, meet people you didn't think you'd meet. And it's nice to have people from where you are who share experiences with you, but I would say generally try to reach out and branch out to other people too.
Thanks for those answers, guys. I met my friends, like my closest friends during O week or orientation week, which a lot of people say they like lose friends. I mean, they don't like stick with those friends the whole college career, but they're still my friends, which is pretty cool. I just like hung out with them through activities and met them kind of randomly. But yeah, that's just my experience. And our next question is, what are classes on campus like?
I could start with that. Usually, as most of you guys are freshmen, you'll be taking intro classes, and those can be have up to 300 or more people. But as you get into more major specific classes, the class size narrows down, and each professor kind of have their own teaching styles. Some lectures it will be dry, but others are really fun. I've taken chemistry classes where we've done live demos in class. In marketing classes, we watch like ads and movies to get concepts across. I think that the workload, even though it is more, it's definitely not unmanageable. And you really learn more practical skills like, oh, what learning style suits best for you, or how to work in groups. And I think college classes really provides an environment where you can really take control of your own learning experience.
Yeah. Like kind of going off with that, like for intro level courses, since there's like a lot of students, it might seem like difficult to get a hold of like professors and to like find help. But actually, like professors are required to have like office hours, so those are really nice to like go to and ask a lot of questions and get help on like practice problems and stuff like that. And then there's also like recitations, which depends on which class you take. Like some might have recitations, and that's another way to ask questions and practice as well. And then I find like reaching out to TAs, or which are teaching assistants, and they're previous students who took the class before, and they like know how to like navigate the class. They know like what the class structure, the content is, and I find that reaching out to them and attending their office hours, asking them a lot of questions is really helpful, and might like reduce some anxiety about like your first classes, especially in a big class like an intro level class.
Yeah, kind of just running from that. For most of the classes I took, it seemed like it was kind of going from a rate of smaller assignments more frequently to larger assignments but less frequently, or maybe smaller assignments but just on a weekly basis with larger assignments in between. The other thing kind of with that is it's more on you to keep track of the assignments and take on the responsibility. So for me, one of the first things I always do is like copy down the syllabus for all my classes into like one central planner so I can keep track of all of them. And again, just like being just responsible and like going after the TAs and the teacher and engaging them helps as well.
Nice. Thank you guys. That was definitely a lot of solid advice. But obviously, given our current situation, we don't know if we're going to be on campus in the fall. So we also wanted to talk about our experiences with online classes at Pitt, and hopefully give you a look into that. So I'll start with that one. For me, I think online classes were a very like smooth transition, honestly, or given the situation, as smooth as could be. Because like what Angel was talking about earlier, a lot of classes that you end up having, especially as freshmen, are like these big lecture classes for gen eds. And there's not really any, you're not losing anything by having to go to a lecture than having a lecture given to you through the screen. It's a big class anyway, so you don't interact a lot anyway. But even I had a project-based class this semester that was definitely a lot more interaction. But projects were able to adapt really simply, and I have younger brothers in high school, and I think I had it a lot easier than them in high school. So I think you'll be all right with the online classes here at Pitt.
Yeah, for me, actually, I took language classes online, and they were actually pretty fun online since the class was smaller than like your typical lecture or your typical courses. So there's a lot more interaction between like the students and us with the teacher. For my other courses, however, there's actually a lot more like learning outside of the Zoom lecture hour or whatever. Like they would give really helpful like tutorials just to like work through problem sets and stuff. So it was actually still pretty doable, and I think it was a smooth transition. So.
Yeah, I thought like the online classes were like pretty similar to the regular classes you'd find on campus, especially with like the larger classes. Like usually like the professors will have like a Zoom lecture like called during a specific period of time, like for example like 11 a.m. Or they'll have like a recording, and in that case like that's also similar to like a lecture. It's just like you can pace yourself, you can rewatch like the recording, so that's also nice too. And you can still like ask questions through office hours, and there will still be assignments. And actually, in terms of like studying, it's like really similar to like classes on campus, because you're still I guess like it's up to you like how much you're willing to put in the effort and study. So yeah, it's pretty similar.
Thanks, guys. Sorry. one of our last question we have is, what is your top tip on adjusting to college life, or what was the hardest part about adjusting?
I can start that one off. Hardest part for me adjusting to college was just how much I didn't know about anything. So I came from Nigeria, so one of the hard parts was living by myself in a totally different country. That was hard, but also I just realized there was just so much I didn't know about things. I tell all my friends I didn't know that AP exams and classes were important until I got to college. So my piece of advice would be, it can be scary how much you don't know, but you can solve this by Pitt has a lot of resources available. So if you gather information from those resources, ask questions to the right people, you can find out a lot of answers to a lot of questions. So I say don't be overwhelmed, try not to get scared, and just calmly gather information, and that helps out a lot.
I mean, like, that was like super deep, but actually the most difficult thing that I had to adjust to was like cleaning the bathroom in my dorm. And I know that sounds like weird, but in all seriousness, like actually knowing how to do life maintenance tasks, whether it's like figuring out where to get food, how to do laundry, or like, just like generally keeping my living space clean, I think that was really tough. But I think that actually learning to be a capable and like independent human being, it felt more useful than anything that I could learn in my classes. So yeah, definitely try to adjust to just living on your own.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with Ed there. Being a capable human being is probably the hardest part, at least initially of school. But like, because in high school, you have, at least for me, I had a very regimented schedule, like classes all day, then stuff at like post activities in the afternoon, and then homework in the night, go to bed, rinse and repeat for like 5 days a week. But you get to college and you have like 3 hours of class a day and then nothing. You're like, oh crap, what do I do with all this time? And so for me, it was a lot of like time management early on, figuring out how to like make a Google Calendar, make friends who would keep me on the ball, and sort of reestablish that schedule. Getting into starting freshman year was really the trick for me.
For me, I actually had to learn how to study coming to college because I never really had to study that hard in high school. So my advice would be to create some sort of study plan on when to work on what, like what subject throughout the week, just so you don't fall behind on like certain classes, or you don't spend too much time on something unproductive or too much on like one specific homework. That was something definitely to try to do your first year.
All right, thank you, everybody. So now's the point where we could get to some Q&A questions if you guys have them. But I'm looking at the chat and don't see anything yet. So we have a couple other more fun questions, more like just about Pitt and general questions that we'd be happy to answer. But feel free to put anything in there if you have any burning questions on your mind, and we'll be happy to get to them in a bit. But for a more fun question, we wanted to just ask everybody sort of, and this is open to anybody, what are some of your favorite things about Pitt?
I guess I can answer that first. I think my favorite thing about Pitt is probably gonna have to be like all the neighborhoods. They're all just like a single bus ride or like a walk away from campus. And honestly, it's like a complete change in scenery. You can walk 10-15 minutes and just like everything is completely different. And I think just having a lot of different cool things to go to is really nice.
Pretty cool on campus too, I'd say. Like you can even find like cool stuff there. Just like, oh, like I want to play like frisbee. There's a giant lawn in front of like the cathedral. So I think like, yeah, I think it's cool that like the campus is so close to all these other places, but also still has like all these cool things. I don't know.
Yeah, I liked how like the campus was like wasn't too big, but it was also like big enough for me to like feel like I'm actually like on a campus. I don't know, like I feel like walking to classes is a burden, and I can't imagine like going to a different college where like the campus, like you have to take buses to get to like your classes. And I'm just so like grateful that like I could just walk to my classes within like 10 minutes or so. So I really like that about Pitt.
I don't know. This is usually an unpopular opinion, but I really like Pittsburgh weather. I think the variety is really nice. I always get flack for this. But I also just like the fact that like between classes, you have time to like go out for a walk and enjoy the air. Just in between classes, getting outside is really refreshing. That you're not just stuck inside a stuffy building all day.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to politely disagree with that.
I completely 100% disagree. That is a very that's an objectively false opinion.
Stop. I mean, Pittsburgh weather isn't the best. Well,
We had a good winter this year. It wasn't too rainy.
true.
Yeah, you know, only like a polar vortex. Yeah, no big deal.
It was like, it was all right. It looks like, though, we have a question in the chat. What is studying in University of Pittsburgh as an international student? What is it like studying as an international student?
That question sounds tailor-made for me. So I came all the way from Lagos, Nigeria, by myself, no parents. So that's one of the first things. You're not gonna have your parents nearby. You don't. Some people have family nearby that they can like go to, but not everyone is that lucky. So you have to build responsibility yourself. You have to learn. You know, you have to keep on top of things. You have to make sure deadlines are met. Even not just academically, like in the background, documents are submitted. For example, Pitt lost my immunization records recently, and I had to figure out how to get it to them because my parents weren't there to do it for me. It can be scary. It can really be scary. But if you stay on top of things and, like I said, gather information, it shouldn't be too bad. The educational system is different too. Every country has their own way of teaching and learning and exams. For me personally, it was a relief because college exams and college learning is a lot easier here than it was in Nigeria. Everything was a lot tougher back there. So it can be a blessing sometimes how things get easier for you or you adjust it to a different way and it helps. But it's also easy to get overwhelmed and lost, but it's definitely doable. And there are usually associations and organizations to help people from where you're from or wherever you came from get through college life in the US.
Awesome. Wait, Kami, did you join any like clubs with like international students or anything?
You see, now you call my bluff because they are organizations that just never joined them.
I mean, I can.
And that's the important part. They're there.
Yeah, I can speak to like joining cultural organizations because I was a part of the Chinese American Students Association. I know it's like probably a little bit different, but it's definitely a way to connect to people who are similar to you. But yeah, I think it's a good way to connect with people. But I think that like if you're trying to do leadership or like stuff like that, I would maybe stray away a little bit because the workload is really tough for that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's just my opinion though.
I am not an international student, but I want to sort of generalize that. I think for anybody coming from anywhere, it's obviously a little bit harder for international students, but like even if you're just coming from across the state, like from Philly, or from California for you guys, it is a weird transition to like be so far away from your family and stuff. And so what I found really helpful was just that, especially in that first week, sort of like Maddie was talking about, just like everybody is super friendly the first like couple weeks of college, and just make friends with everybody. So like I made friends with a couple of international guys, and I know they were all really close to each other because they were all like, what kind of weird situation are we in right now? But like people are all super willing to just like talk and meet each other in the beginning. So don't be afraid to like just reach out to people, and you never know who you're going to meet.
I think somebody just hit us with the classic question: where is the best place to eat?
Should we go for on campus though or off campus, or like both?
Do we want to start a debate?
If we're really trying to do a debate right now, we can do on campus. I mean, since you're freshmen, maybe we actually can.
Both.
Yeah.
Someone explain on campus, like objectively, or no? Okay.
Well, you do it. Try it.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's like two main cafeterias. So one is on upper campus and one is on lower campus. The one on lower campus usually is where most people go. It's called Market. It gets a lot of like bad rep, but apparently they're getting like a new like food provider or something. Maybe it'll improve. And then the one on upper campus, I have only went there like once or twice, but people say that one's generally better. That's another debate waiting to happen. There's also like a Market to Go, which is like a little like snack / like grab and go lunch area, where there's also like lots of tables where you can just like study if you want to. So
Or play Uno at 4 a.m.
yeah, that's mostly what we do there.
I would say like market is like the easiest to like go to, and then the Perch, which is all the way on upper campus, like that's really difficult to get to because you have to either walk up a hill, or like take a bus up there. And I don't know if I would take a bus all the way to upper campus just to eat some cafeteria food, you know? So
Unless you live in Sutherland or
yeah,
any of the other upper campus
Sutherland.
housing.
Yeah,
In that case, you get the best of both worlds.
that is true.
Except maybe traveling to campus for literally all your classes. But that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Market is good though. So like a lot of people like to hate on market and say Perch is better. Perch is too limited of a selection, so if you don't like what's there that day, you're kind of screwed. But with market, there's so much stuff there all the time, and so you can usually find something that's pretty good. Like they just added halal like last semester, and it's really good. I don't think that like the normal people who are like cooking like the burgers and stuff make it. I think they like cater it out or something, and so they know what they're doing there. So halal's pretty good. But how about somebody answers for like off-campus stuff too? Because there's a lot of stuff on Forbes app.
Yes. Could I start? Off campus, I will tell this to everyone, and not a lot of people know this. On Bigelow, the street that Kathy lies on is under construction now. But for the upper part of Bigelow, there is a food truck there, a Thai food truck. It is cheap food. It is good food, and the dude there is amazing. It is all sorts of options: noodles, rice, soups. It's amazing, and it's only $6 for a decent sized meal. I recommend it to anybody. That is a good place to eat.
Yeah, honestly, you could feed an entire family for like $10 from that truck. And the food is like really good.
Period. Is that?
On the
Sorry, you go ahead, Josh.
On the topic of food trucks, there's a halal Pitt food truck that parked in front of the Pitt Public Health Building. That is also really good.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah.
Kami's not convinced.
No, I've been there.
It's really great when you're writing proposals at like midnight and you just need to grab some food. It's open. It's delicious. It's great.
Thing. We have Chipotle and stuff, and there's a place called Piata, which is like a Chipotle, but like Italian street food. And Piatas are so good, in my opinion. I love them. So I recommend that place. I mean, it's like kind of like a fast food, but like high-end fast food, like Chipotle. Right?
Yeah, for sure. And make sure you bring your student ID, and like even if they don't ask you, always show your student ID, because there's always these like crazy student deals. Like sometimes you just get like free stuff just for like walking into the store. It's pretty great.
It is true for some stores too around. Like there's like a grocery store in the neighborhood next to campus in like Squirrel Hill that you just like, if you show it, you just get like 5 or 10% off, which is
There's also a lot of like good food like not in Oakland. Like Nicole just mentioned Squirrel Hill, but you can also all the public transportation in Pittsburgh is free with a student ID. So like you can go downtown and get some nice food. You can go to Shady Side or Lawrenceville. There's lots of good food. So me and my friends personally try to hit like a different like Chinese restaurant every week. So far fairly successful.
Should have just came over to my place. I would have cooked for you guys.
Speaking of
There's
Chinese
also
food, I'm sorry.
There's also some really good Indian buffets too. Just saying.
Wait, Kami, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, speaking of Chinese food, on Atwood, on the side of the street, there is a Chinese place, Szechuan Express. It is also cheap, decent size, decent tasting food. It is good. It is. Freshman year, I went there like twice a week. It is. I recommend it. It is cheap. It's like the food truck, but like in the store, but like a different cuisine, but same concept.
That's one really good. I go like at least twice a week. Maybe it's not healthy, but definitely recommend.
Wait, yeah, in the chat, somebody just said Roots. Jen just said Roots. I'm gonna have to second that. It's a bit expensive, but like if you're like actually just dying from malnutrition, Roots is the place to go. Like no joke. You will get like all your vitamins and minerals in a bowl, and it's actually really good. Like the dressing, it's A1. Like
They're like
or not. It's not like the steak sauce A1, but it's good.
Yeah, Roots is like a salad place essentially, or like a bowl, a rice bowl, and like I never ever have craved a salad in my life before until I tried Roots, and it is so good. Highly recommend.
Yeah, and like also like this is a lot coming from me because I eat a ton, but like I was full from a salad. Like that's unnatural, but it was really in like a good way, in the best way possible. So highly recommend, go to Roots.
I'm gonna chime in there on the topic of Roots. Roots is the one place on Forbes that I said I'm never gonna go to again. I went there and it was just, for me, it was a discount Chipotle. It was just not as good. I didn't like it personally. I know that's an unpopular opinion,
Disrespect.
I'm sure. I don't like it. I thought their options were very limited. I thought I wasn't a fan. I just wasn't a fan.
I agree.
Thank you, Josh.
Wow, I'm shook right now.
Yeah, this is like
I've never heard
life-changing
this.
news for some of us.
Oh, wait, there's also that buffet place, Golden Palace.
Oh, true. Actually, if you're trying to like, I'm pretty sure they like just cater to a lot of like cultural org events. So like if you're trying to actually just get Chinese food for free, just slide through cultural events and like there's always free food.
Oh, during O Week, assuming that we'll be on campus, there's always a Pittsburgh food event, so you get free food, like free, what's that? Like that big hamburger? Big sandwich thing with the fries.
Oh, Primanti's?
But yeah, you get a lot of free food then.
I think we're going to move on to maybe Ed's post activity. No, announcements. I'm sorry. Announcements.
Yeah, I can talk about some announcements. Yeah, so if any of you are still interested in the Panther to Panther mentorship, we should still have that available to you. You can sign up. I think there'll be a link in the chat, either right now or soon. Yeah, so right now, if any of you just want to stay on this Zoom call and just like hang out for a little, I think Ed said he had some sort of a game or something planned for us. Otherwise, make sure to check our website for future webinars like this, where we have different topics for you all. I think there's other events too we have planned. And we should be on Facebook as well, which, yes, those are both in the chat for you. So, thanks for joining.
Yeah, so that concludes our program, our formal program for today. We hope we answered some questions for you guys. We had a good time. But yeah, so now if you're just going to have like sort of a hangout time moderated by Ed, where we have a bit of a fun activity planned. So feel free to stay, or if you have to head out, check us out and mention us to anybody else that you might know that's coming to Pitt. We'd love to answer questions for you.
Yeah, before I get started, somebody mentioned pho. Like compared to Philly, like Pittsburgh pho is just, you know, it's not that great. But if you really crave it, in my opinion, it's best to get it in the Strip District.